Hey guys, for this video, this will be a review of the full third anniversary celebration of Ring of Honor from 2005. I was kind of debating about continuing this video series, but I get a lot of messages from people that are very supportive of it and are actually very interested in seeing 2005 and 2006, and so I will continue to do it, and I really do enjoy it, and it's pretty easy for me to do. The short reviews are a lot less stressful, so I really don't mind doing it. So. All right, before we get underway with the third anniversary celebration, there was actually a show in January before the anniversary. It was called It All Begins. This is a decent show, not great, but it's pretty underrated, though. You don't really hear a lot about it. One of the best matches on the show was the opener, Shelley versus Spanky. They brought Spanky in to be a Ring of Honor regular in 2005, and he really did help out the roster a lot. I don't think Spanky's that great, but he's a very solid mid-card wrestler to me. So him and Shelley just had a very good opening match. The Ultimate Endurance match with CM Punk and Steve Corino and the Rottweilers and the Carnage crew brought this show down. It was just way too long. Samoa Joe and Nigel McGuinness, very fun match. Not one of the better Joe-Nigel matches, but this is their first match. And really, the thing I noticed about this match was Joe just got a great ovation. It was the first match after he lost the belt in Ring of Honor, so the crowd just gave him a great ovation, and even Jimmy Bauer said, Samoa Joe, more popular than ever. So that was a pretty fun match. About a 3 1/4 star match. Homicide and Bryan Danielson, the tap-out match. It was pretty good. This is probably one of the better matches from their Best of 5 series. I'll talk more about their series later, but, I really thought their whole series was very disappointing in 2005. Each match had a stipulation, which is why I think the series was kind of mediocre. All right, now the match of the night, very underrated match, Austin Aries versus Colt Cabana, excellent match. I just thought this was great. The near falls are pretty good. The drama was great because Aries actually did a brainbuster to Colt Cabana on the steel steps, or the steel ramp actually. So when Cabana got back into the ring, he kind of hit a small package out of nowhere. The crowd went crazy for that near fall. And Aries put Colt Cabana away with the 450 splash. But this is a very underrated match. I thought it was really good. And then there was a Mick Foley and Samoa Joe confrontation. Some pretty good stuff from Foley on the mic. I thought it was pretty good. So It All Begins. It's a pretty decent show. Definitely pick it up in the $10 sale if you can, because I think it's pretty underrated. All right, so we get right down to it. The third anniversary celebration, part 1. Now, this anniversary for Ring of Honor was a lot more celebrated than the others. I think because Ring of Honor really didn't know if they were going to be in business by this time. There was times where you really thought the company might go under, like Truth Slayer has talked about a lot of times. So, they had the scandal with Robbie Feinstein. So, this celebration was really great, and from top to bottom, these shows were really stacked, and they really brought in a lot of great talent for these shows, and you could just see the improvement. The production values were a lot better, and from top to bottom, these were just much more enjoyable shows than a lot of the stuff that even went on in 2004. So the first show, this is probably the weakest out of all of them, part 1. It was a little bit too long, but some of the good stuff from the show was John Walters and Jay Lethal for the Pure title. Pretty decent stuff. Alex Shelley and Jimmy Jacobs, pretty good stuff. Shelley was trying to forgive everyone for all the sins he committed in Generation Next, because he was just kicked out of Generation Next. So he was trying to earn everyone's respect, but basically he was having a tough time doing it. But him and Jacobs had a pretty decent match. Spanky and CM Punk. Spanky. This is definitely about putting Spanky over. And after the match, this is what started the CM Punk Jimmy Raven Embassy feud. So, and then we had Bryan Danielson and Homicide, the tape fist match 2 of the Best of 5 series. I don't know. This really did not work for me. The tape fist stipulation really hurt the match, and I really just did not enjoy it. The highlight of the match, or I'm sorry, the highlight of the show was Austin Aries versus Colt Cabana, the cage match. This is a cage match because Colt Cabana was actually injured because of Austin Aries back in the summertime. Aries did like a 450 splash to Aries' shoulder with 2 chairs on it, so he basically took Colt Cabana out. So this is kind of like the grudge match to settle everything off, and this is great. The cage match is pretty good. Colt Cabana did like a spinning razor's edge to Aries, and Aries did a Whole bunch of drop kicks to Cabana while he was trying to escape the cage. Just really fun stuff. And the finish here, this is one of the best finishes I've ever seen in a cage match. You know, Colt Cabana was actually going to escape over the top of the cage, but Aries saw that the door of the steel cage was still open. So Aries just sprinted as fast as he could out of the cage and actually flipped out and landed on his back. Just an insane finish. He really sacrificed himself to retain the ROH World Title here. So I thought that was a great finish to the cage match. But you know, part 1 was kind of disappointing. Part 2 is an excellent show. One of the best shows of 2005 from top to bottom. You know, maybe one of the best shows in ROH history as far as great wrestling from top to bottom, because each match really delivered. Homicide and Puma had a really decent match. Colt Cabana and Nigel McGuinness had a friendly, like European-style wrestling match that I really enjoyed that. They would have better matches as 2005 went on. Spanky versus James Gibson. You know, this is James Gibson's ROH debut. It was really good stuff. I really enjoyed it. The fans gave Gibson a great ovation. Really went over well here. Him and Spanky. The backstory behind this match was about, you know, Spanky and James Gibson not having to worry about the SmackDown agents, you know, telling them the direction of the match, and they could just go out there and have a great wrestling match. That's what it was. CM Punk and Alex Shelley, great match, great submission wrestling, great storytelling, and I thought this was excellent. A lot of people really loved this match. This finished really high on Ring of Honor's top 100 matches from the first 100 shows. I think it was like number 62 or something like that. So next up we had Samoa Joe and Bryan Danielson versus Austin Aries and Jack Evans. Really fun match. You know, Joe and Danielson just stretched the crap out of Jack Evans, and they basically humiliated him. This is a really fun comedy match. I mean, I really had fun watching this match. And then the main event, AJ Styles versus Jimmy Rave. They brought AJ Styles back just for this one show because Jimmy Rave was actually using the Styles Clash. So, you know, and for those who don't know, AJ actually helped train Jimmy Rave. So they definitely had a little bit of history. So this is what basically set up the feud for the latter part of 2005. And this is a pretty good match. Really, really solid stuff from AJ. A lot of chemistry. They were really pushing Jimmy Rave at this time. And, you know, Jimmy Rave kind of, they sprayed something in AJ Styles' eye, Prince Nana, and Jimmy Rave got the upset. So yeah, I would say third anniversary celebration part 2 is an essential show. It's definitely one of the best shows that Ring of Honor has ever done from top to bottom. But there's really no match of the year candidate here. Everything is pretty much, you know, the best match is probably 3 3/4 stars. So, all right, third anniversary celebration part 3, another excellent show. Still in stock, so definitely try to pick this up if you can. Alex Shelley and Jack Evans was an excellent match. A solid 3.5-star match there. Bryan Danielson and a Homicide Falls Count Anywhere match. Now, this was pretty good. The problem is we couldn't see anything that was going on because they brawled into the crowd. But Danielson was doing like a surfboard, and he did like a cattle mutilation in the crowd, which is pretty different. When they got back into the ring, it was pretty good, though. So this was pretty good, I say. One of the better matches from their series. But still not spectacular, though. Next we get Spanky and Jimmy Jacobs. Before the match, you know, Spanky was kind of pissed off because Jimmy Jacobs was using his finisher, you know, the sliced bread. Jimmy Jacobs calls it, what did Jimmy Jacobs call it? Not the end time. What am I thinking of? The Contra Code. Okay. But the match is okay. It was decent. Nothing spectacular. Next up we had James Gibson versus Puma. Gibson put on another great performance here. Just another technical wrestling display from Gibson. Crowd really gave him a great ovation as well. CM Punk versus Jimmy Rave. This is definitely about, you know, kicking the feud off, and Jimmy Rave basically cheated here. The Prince Nana actually sprayed some type of pesticide in CM Punk's face, so Jimmy Rave actually got the upset. But this is a pretty decent match, though. You know, but like I said, this is definitely just about, you know, building towards something else, just setting up their feud. And next up, we get Austin Aries versus Samoa Joe for the ROH World Title. An excellent match, one of the most underrated matches I've probably seen in Ring of Honor. This match gets no love for whatever reason. I guess because it gets overshadowed because of the Final Battle match. But the crowd was red hot here. It's a rematch from Final Battle. The crowd was definitely into this match. You know, Chicago crowd was great. And the finish was awesome. At least I liked the finish. Maybe the crowd didn't like it. Joe actually had Aries in the Chiquita clutch. and then Aries kind of like put all his weight on top of Joe, and actually put him in a pinning predicament, and then Aries actually pinned Joe, to get the upset victory. And I thought it was a great finish. Basically the same finish that Christian and Joe used for Destination X 2007. So yeah, this is another great show. The third anniversary celebration shows are very good shows from top to bottom. You can see the production values and the match quality definitely improve on these shows. And I will continue this for 2005. Like I said, 2005 was my favorite year in Ring of Honor history, so definitely want to continue this. And thanks for watching.